The city of Savannah had always whispered stories. Spanish moss draped over centuries-old oaks. Cobblestone streets echoed with ghostly footsteps, and the air itself carried a strange, melancholic perfume of history. For Julian Carter, a traveling photographer chasing abandoned buildings and forgotten corners of the South, Savannah was a dream he hadn't realized he'd been chasing. He arrived just as dusk began to swallow the sky. The taxi dropped him at the entrance of the Marlowe Hotel, a small, brick structure that had survived 2 world wars and countless renovations, yet somehow retained the charm of another era. Its wrought iron balconies curled like claws against the fading light, and a faint smell of mildew and aged wood seeped through the revolving door as he entered. The lobby was quiet, almost too quiet. A single desk lamp flickered in the corner, casting long, tremulous shadows across faded Persian rugs. The receptionist, a woman with sharp features and eyes that seemed older than time itself, barely looked up as she handed him his key. "Room 308. 3rd floor, end of the hall," she said, her voice soft but firm, like someone delivering a warning that Julian wasn't meant to understand. He nodded, suppressing a shiver that had nothing to do with the cool evening air. The elevator groaned as it climbed, each floor marking a slow passage deeper into the building's past. When the doors opened on the 3rd floor, the hallway stretched long and dimly lit, the wallpaper peeling in places, exposing layers of paint and paper from decades before. The number 308 gleamed faintly in brass against a chipped wooden door. Julian pushed it open and stepped inside. The room smelled of old linen and something else, a faint metallic scent he couldn't place. His suitcase thudded onto the carpet, and he took a slow, deliberate survey of the space. A single bed with a patchwork quilt, a small writing desk, a dresser, and an antique mirror leaning against the far wall. Its frame was ornate, gilded, and slightly tarnished. He approached it, camera hanging from his neck, and inspected the glass. At first, it seemed ordinary, but as he adjusted the lens, a chill crawled up his spine. The reflection was off, subtle at first, a shadow lingering where it shouldn't, a corner of the room slightly distorted. Then he noticed the most unnerving thing. The reflection of the bed showed the quilt pulled back, as if someone had been sleeping there, though the bed behind him remained untouched. Julian laughed nervously, blaming fatigue and a long day of travel. He set up his camera to capture the evening light spilling through the tall windows. But the mirror's surface seemed to shift, almost imperceptibly, each time he blinked. At one moment, the reflection was his own. The next, it was something else. A dark figure standing behind him, just at the edge of perception. He spun around, heart hammering, and found only empty air. The night deepened. Every creak of the old building sounded like footsteps approaching his door. The wind outside seemed to whisper names he didn't recognize. Julian's rational mind fought panic, telling him it was the building settling, the wind in the trees, his imagination. Yet, every instinct screamed danger, warning him that the mirror was not merely reflecting reality. It was hiding something, or worse, showing something that had already come. By midnight, Julian had stopped trying to convince himself. The mirror had claimed the room as its own. Shadows danced just beyond its edges, and he could swear he saw the faint outline of a face pressed against the glass when no one else was there. Sleep felt impossible, yet he could not leave. A compulsion rooted him to that space, a whisper curling through his mind. Look closer. And so Julian Carter, traveling photographer and skeptic of the supernatural, became the latest occupant of room 308. Alone yet not alone. Awake yet dreaming in the shadows. The Marlowe Hotel had a new story to tell, and the mirror waited patiently to reveal it. The first light of dawn in Savannah was soft, almost gentle, but it brought Julian no comfort. He hadn't slept. Every time he closed his eyes, the mirror's dark figure lingered behind his eyelids, its presence pressing against his mind. Breakfast in the lobby was silent. The receptionist gave him a look that felt more like a question than a greeting, and Julian avoided her gaze. Back in room 308, he tried to convince himself it was fatigue. The camera equipment spread across the bed was his shield, a tool to measure reality in numbers and pixels. He reviewed the photos he had taken the previous evening. Most were normal, empty hallways, dust motes in golden sunlight. But one image made his stomach twist. The reflection of the mirror showed a man seated at the edge of the bed, hunched over, face obscured. Julian had taken no photo of anyone. Unease morphed into obsession. He moved the mirror to face the window, hoping daylight would strip it of its power. The mirror resisted. It seemed heavier than it should, its frame almost alive beneath his hands. When finally positioned, he stepped back. The reflection didn't match the room. The bed was empty, the curtains drawn differently, and in the corner, a faint silhouette crouched, watching him. By evening, the room had changed in subtle ways. Shadows stretched where none should be. Objects shifted. His camera now rested on the desk instead of the bed, the quilt folded neatly when he had left it rumpled. And always, the mirror showed him things he could not see. Whispers of movement, fleeting figures, faces pressed against the glass that weren't there. Julian began speaking to it. First, questions. What do you want? The mirror offered nothing but silence. Then warnings. His reflection would smile when he did not, or frown when he laughed. By the third night, the reflection no longer imitated him at all. It moved independently, standing in the corner of the room, tilting its head, studying him with empty, black eyes. The compulsion became unbearable. Julian felt drawn to the mirror, unable to tear himself away. He touched the glass, cold and impossibly smooth, and felt a vibration beneath his fingertips, like a pulse. Panic surged. He yanked his hand back, but the reflection's hand remained on the glass, pressed flat, beckoning. Julian's grip on reality fractured. He woke in the night to find himself on the floor, camera in hand, staring into the mirror. The figure inside no longer waited in the corner. It was seated in his chair, its head cocked, whispering in a voice he knew but could not place. Words slithered into his mind, urging him, commanding him. Days passed. The hotel staff noticed the new vacancy in his eyes, a hollow absence behind the camera. Guests on the same floor whispered of noises. A low humming, faint thuds, the scraping of nails on wood. No one saw Julian during the day. Only the mirror had him. By the fourth night, the room was alive. The shadows of previous guests, long gone, danced in corners. Objects moved, not violently, but deliberately. The reflection spoke clearly now, not in whispers, but in commands. Julian, trapped between fascination and terror, obeyed. He cleaned the mirror, polished it, spoke to it, begged it to show him something real. And then, when he least expected it, the mirror did. It smiled. A smile not his own. Wide, impossibly wide, stretching across a face that had never lived. And in that instant, Julian realized the truth. Room 308 had claimed him. It had been waiting for a new story, a new soul to feed its endless reflection of horrors, a new witness to its secret world. The camera slipped from his hands. The reflection leaned forward. Julian felt himself pulled toward the glass, into the cold, unyielding surface. And then there was nothing. The mirror hung on the wall, still, silent, waiting. If this story sent chills racing down your spine, don't just watch in silence. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you never miss another true life horror tale. Follow us to step deeper into the shadows, where haunted hotels, possessed objects, and chilling mysteries lie in wait. Share this video with anyone brave enough to face the darkness, and leave a comment telling us what you would do if you found yourself trapped in room 308. Your ideas and experiences could inspire the next terrifying story, and we want to hear them. Every week, we uncover real accounts of the supernatural, eerie events, and horrors that will haunt your dreams long after the lights go out. Join our growing community of fearless viewers, and be the first to witness what lurks beyond the mirror, in empty rooms, and in the dark corners of history. Like the video if it made your heart race, share it with friends who dare to explore true life horror, and turn on notifications, because the terror doesn't wait, and neither should you. Follow us on all our social channels to dive even deeper into haunted locations, cursed objects, and unexplained phenomena. Comment, share, and let us know which story haunted you the most. Your voice could shape the next spine-chilling episode. And remember, the shadows are always watching, the mirrors are always waiting, and the next haunting could be closer than you think. Are you brave enough to return for more? Subscribe, follow, and stay close. The next nightmare is only a heartbeat away.